Hello and good time zone, everybody, and welcome back to Horde of Tales. It is Tuesday, and that means it is time to load up our safe game of Six Moon Saga, of Fabula Ultima actual play. My name is Marcus, also known as Such Individual. My pronouns are he, him, and I have the honor to be the game master of this fantastic group already for the fourth session today. Who is this group? Well, let's give them a chance to introduce themselves. Let's go around the table and start with Angela.
Hello there, lovely people. It's an absolute pleasure to be here for the second day in a row, as is my nature with working here over at Horde of Tales, being a fantastic player in GM. My name is Angela Lemos Mogrovejo. I use she, her pronouns, and I'll be playing Genevieve Vivi Olmos, who is our arcane inventor and having a lot of feelings and ready to kill things. Pretty standard for me.
Good to have you back at the table. Gabrielle, hello there.
Hello, everyone. This is Gabriel again, and I'm looking forward to kick some cosmic horror butt.
Cosmic horror butt kicking as Enluara indeed. All right.
In real life too, if I get the chance, but I don't think that's likely.
Let's see how the session goes.
Okay.
talking about eldritch beings and entities. Nev, hello.
Hello, everybody. I'm Nev, your friendly neighborhood squid person. Today I will be playing Sable once again, who is totally not a cosmic horror in a human body at all. My pronouns are she, they. Sable's pronouns are they, them. They will be using the magic of entropy to hopefully kill things.
As we all know, entropy is magic, and we're glad to have Sable in the party to help out with that. Usually, as you've seen in the previous sessions, we're also accompanied by Nikki, who can unfortunately today not make it, but we'll be back hopefully next session. And Nikki, if you're watching along, fingers crossed for the rest of your party. Everything's going to be hunky-dory today. With that being said, how do you all feel about continuing where we left off last session? And, well, where did we leave off last session here on Fabula Ultima? When last we met our adventurers, all of you were exploring the sewers beneath Forkbridge to investigate some strange things happening around the town's wellspring, crystallized magic that keeps the town safe from monsters and other dangers. On your way to the root of the wellspring, you encountered a few monsters, caterpillars and vampiric bats, who were fighting Thaddeus Grimsby, one of the employees of the Global Order of the Seekers, a kind of global archaeologist network, who's also happened to be here and wanted to investigate the wellspring. You decided to help out Thaddeus, who seems to have some strange interest in Sable and other things that are happening here. And as you delve deeper beneath the town, you also found that some of the pipes that are running through the sewers have been mended with magic that blends technology and spiritist healing magic, which seems to be a signature move of Vivi's father, who she is currently still looking for. To make matters even more complicated, another white-clothed figure, one with long limbs and a glass faceplate underneath a white hood, appeared and implied that Vivi's father might have some dealings with this strange organization and whatever they are doing currently to the wellspring. You found this individual at the root of the wellspring, machinery attached to it, and apparently some machinations in the making to use the wellspring for a purpose it was not meant for. We ended the last session as Yuen and Yao, the twin characters of Nikki, attacked the white-clothed figure, who then promptly summoned two shadowy, wheel-shaped monsters from the wellspring. And now, we find our party on one side of the screen, and on the other, standing in front of the blue light of the wellspring, the white-clothed figure, long arms, a white hood over his glass-covered face, and these two circular, wheel-shaped shadow creatures. I think that deserves a little change in background music. As we kick off this session, before we roll initiative, a quick check for your character sheets. Does any one of you start the session with 0 Fabula points?
Nope.
I think I did. I think I did use it all up last time.
If you
I
have
only have
zero,
one.
if you have 0 Fabula points, you get 1 Fabula point now. Because if you start the session with 0, you get 1 at the start of it. It is time then to settle the question of who goes first in this fight. And we're going to roll initiative. Now, as we've seen before, initiative is a group check. We're going to have one of you who's going to take the lead in the initiative check, and the rest is going to support by also rolling for the initiative. Who of you would like to take the lead in the roll?
I'd say since you and Nick's character is not here, you and Laura usually takes the lead when it's not them. But Vivi, do you wanna or Sable?
No, I'm
Go.
fine with you taking the lead on that one.
Okay.
Sable is very slow. They
Yes.
will not. They will not be taking the lead.
Canonically, we have established this.
All right, then before Luara rolls the initiative check, I need Vivi and Sable to both make a dexterity plus insight check, and if any of you get a 10 or higher as a total, then Luara gets, for each of you who gets a 10 or higher, a +1 on her initiative roll.
That is 11 for me.
An 11 already. And Sable?
And a 9 for me.
And a 9 for Sable, which means, and Luara, you can now also roll a dexterity plus insight check, and you can add +1 to the result.
Okay, so that's D10 plus D6. Yeah. I got a total 14, 15 then.
Wow, nice.
Yeah. I finally
That-
got a very generously nice roll.
You really did. And that means that the player characters get the initiative. So one of you is allowed to take the first turn of this fight against the white closed figure. Who will it be?
Do we think these things use strength to attack?
That is something that one of you could maybe get from a study action.
Yeah, that's what I
On
was
their turn?
thinking.
I can take the first turn because every time I get hit by something I can study it, so you know.
We'll see what happens. And Luara
Yeah.
is our test person for this.
I am,
The two
yes,
of
I
us
am
try not to
officially
die.
the
Yeah, I
Yes.
was just trying to. I would like to know that because if they do, then affecting them with slow would be a good idea.
Yeah.
But
fantastic.
only if that actually would do anything.
All right. Well, I can take the first turn then, which yeah. Because I assume that I will get hit back in response. So I might be wrong in my assumptions, but who knows?
So what is it you're exactly going to do on your first turn then?
I am going to slap this thing silly because that's my job. And Luara, you know, draws her sword, and well, she is like, she already had her weapon in hand, you know, just in case. But like, she raises it, she faces the thing, and says, "You will regret this." And she just like dashes forward fearlessly, or not intelligently, depending on the perspective. And I will attack with it's my willpower twice to the 8.
And are you attacking one of these shadow wheels or the white clothed figure?
I think I'm gonna go. Which is closest? Like, which would be more sensible? Are they just side by side each other?
The shadow wheels are in between the party and the white clothed figure, so they would be closer. The shadow.
All right. So yeah. So it would make sense for me to attack like what is in front of me first, so I can get to the one in the back.
All right.
Yeah. So yeah, can I roll?
Yeah, sure.
All right, here we go. I got a nice little 9, 2, and 7. Can I? Yeah, but I don't think I wanna. Yeah, I'll let it go. I'll let it go as I'll take that 9 for now.
It's a total of 9, you say?
Yes.
That still hits.
Oh, who would say? Fantastic. So my damage is 7 plus 6, 13.
13 points of damage against one of these shadowy entities as you whip it and parts of its dark energy comes out of it.
Yeah, I will double down with Shadow Strike. I'm gonna spend some hit points to inflict an extra
free attack,
a little bit of extra damage. You know, so as like you see in Luara, you know, run and her sword just like glow with a, you know, kind of a soft white glow like a moon, and then get enveloped by darkness and the shadow, and unleash like a painful attack as she screams as she shouts in, you know, yeah.
All right. And
so does that? Sorry, just for my clarification, does that do shadow damage or dark damage?
Yes, I think.
Because if it does, I'd like to ask if it's actually affecting the shadow creatures normally or not.
Dark. It's dark.
And that is your, because that is your Dark Blade Shadow Strike, right?
Yes. And
right.
I get to roll d8. I'll take that much damage, but I'll add that much damage to the attack as well, plus the skill level. So that I rolled a 5, so I take 5 damage, and I add 6 damage to the total, so that's 18.
But you first need to make another attack. You still need to see if that attack hits.
Oh, that's true.
Still have to check if it hits.
All right. So for this one, let me double check this. It's just my regular attack, right?
Exactly. You basically make your regular attack again, but you can add the damage that you gave yourself on top of it.
Right.
And this...
And I got a 7 and an 8.
Yeah. All damage dealt by this becomes dark. 7 and an 8, so that's a total of 15. And your Shadow Fuel Strike does indeed hit, but as it just goes in there, none of that dark damage has any effect on the Shadow Wheel.
Ah. Okay.
We have immunities. I hate this.
That was kind of obvious, but you know.
Hey, worth a try.
Yep.
We didn't know whether it was resistant or immune. It's still
at least now I know not to even try my Umbra spell on these things.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
I think that was your turn, Luara?
That was my turn, yes.
All right. That brings us to the side of the villains. And I first would like to introduce you to another mechanic of this game, a mechanic that some of our TTRPG aficionados might know from games like Blades in the Dark, and it's called clocks. A clock is a neat little way to keep track of something that is getting closer. And on our Roll20 thing, I am currently putting down a token for a clock that has a total of 6 slices in it. None of them filled yet. However, depending on how certain things will go in this fight, these slices may be filled. And once all 6 slices are filled, something really bad happens. By the rules of this game, I have to tell you what that is, what we're actually counting down to. As we switch over to the villain side, you see that while these shadow wheels are engaging you in a fight, the white-clothed figure is again turning his attention to the dashboard and buttons and cables that are attached to the wellspring and is busy manipulating them like some kind of power and control panel. Now, this white-clothed figure can spend his turn trying to advance this clock. If he succeeds on a check he's going to roll, the clock gets 1 slice filled in it. However, you as player characters can also, on your turn, use your action to see if you can interfere with that and even push back the clock on it. How you do that, I will leave up to your creative skills. You can describe on your turn how you would like to interfere if that's something that you try to do. Just know that once this clock is filled, once all 6 pieces are filled, the white-clothed figure has succeeded in their attempt at manipulating the wellspring. On this turn, the white-clothed figure is going to do exactly that. And he's going to roll a check for that. It is here. See, we were just talking about, before we went live, we talked about which kind of dice you need to use in this game. And we mentioned that there's D12 in it, and well, but we haven't used them yet. Well, I think it's time to start using the D12s. Oh, wow. A 3 and a 3. So you see the white-clothed figure is busy trying to push the dials and everything, trying to move them around, but nothing is currently yet happening. Probably under the strain, under the pressure of being in a fight, while also manipulating this, makes it harder to manipulate the crystal. And once again, we go back to the player character's side. Who of you would like to take the next turn?
I still don't know if applying slow to all of them is a good idea. I could apply it just to the dude, the villain. But I don't think what he's doing right now requires strength. Because slow only affects strength, right?
I can focus on insight related stuff. If you want to give a shot at actually hurting him.
Yeah, that's this question. Am I doing a damage spell to him, or am I slowing?
If you want, I can take it if you still need time to figure that one out, and we can see if I can do anything to hinder him. And then after that, if it doesn't seem to be working, just take the more aggressive route just to stop him.
That sounds good. And maybe
Okay.
in the meantime, we can learn about these shadow things.
Yeah, while they pummel us. Well, not me or you, and Laura, hopefully. I am going to use my action in that case, Vivi, is going to try to hinder the long-armed, white-clothed individual. Basically just going to try... I'm aiming for using dexterity and insight on this. I wanted to try and any of the arms that look like they might be involved in anything related to incantation or somatic casting of any kind for manipulation. I want to try and like pin one of the arms. No. I want to daze them. Daze shot. That seems more appropriate to try and aim for insight. Daze shot, because dazed will lower the insight die size if I succeed on this.
That is correct. Well then, can you give me a dexterity plus insight roll?
All right. Let's see if we can get anywhere with this. Dexterity plus insight. That. Going to be...
5 and a 1.
I do have Fabula points.
You do have them.
I will say that I do think this is exactly the kind of thing that Vivi's grown up with, like studying. So she would know how complicated and how focused you need to be to even try and manipulate it, let alone the kind of magic you'd need to channel to try and get it to work in the first place.
Absolutely.
So I will give it another shot.
All right, spending 1 Fabula point.
Yep, I will re-roll the d8.
Mm-hmm.
See if that's any better. That's 3.
Up to a total of 8 in that case.
Unfortunately, still not enough. I need to get a 10 in order to do it.
Yeah, you're trying to aim for like a way to daze the villain at that point, but your shot goes wide as he's just continuing manipulating. All right.
So that's my turn.
Gotcha. We go back to the villain side, and one of these shadow wheels is taking his turn, and it's a pretty quick one. It's just hovers more into a covering position to cover the villain, and is going to take the guard action to guard the villain, which means that you cannot target the villain until the start of the wheel's next turn. You have to go through the shadow wheel. And
Was it the
Laura,
one that hits or the other?
it was the one that you hit. Exactly. This one's already a little bit scratched, as far as something made out of the shadowy essence itself can look scratched. And that brings us back to the player side again, which means Sable is up.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm attacking the the shadow thing then. Let's see. Question, is Sable's shadow still looking like Venta black and weird?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So I will attempt to attack with my other offensive spell and see what that does. If it hits, I will describe what it does.
Okay. And are you attacking one of the shadow wheels?
Yeah, the one
Or-
guarding the villain,
Gotcha.
because we need to get to the villain.
That makes sense.
I will do a rules clarification. Guard technically only prevents melee attacks, so ranged technically can go
Oh,
does it?
through. I double checked
Oh.
the reference sheet we have. It says guard. You may cover another creature, prevent foes from performing melee attacks against them.
That
So
is true.
Technically, range still will
Huh.
get through,
That is
but it
true.
means Endawara has to get through the other two while we have to deal with him.
So then the question is, do I have the idea that destroying the console would hurt the wellspring in any way, or would it just disable his ability to do anything?
In a way, destroying it would absolutely hinder him on continuing whatever he's trying to do. But you would not be able to tell if there would be any other unexpected consequences to the wellspring. If there is any kind of other damage that would be done to it. Disabling the console definitely would really interfere with what this villain is trying to do, but you don't know what other additional consequences will come from it.
Okay, that's too risky then. I will then attempt to hit the villain.
All right.
Let's see. Oh, no, that's 2d10. That is a 17
A 17.
to hit. Yeah.
Yeah, that hits. Yes.
Okay, so Sable, noticing that their shadow magic isn't going to be terribly useful in this fight, like bangs their magic staff on the ground, and their weird black shadow that's pitch black despite all the light in the room sort of warps and warbles, and then shoots towards, part of it seems to shoot towards the villain, and from under his feet an iceberg of black ice temporarily encases him. As I do, that is a 10, that's max damage. That is 35 ice damage.
Oh, wow. So
I love Caster so much.
This dark iceberg just rushes out of the ground and completely blindsides the villain as cold ice just hits him. However, Sable, at the same time, as your magic connects and materializes around this villain, you just see a flash in front of your eyes of, in the wellspring behind him, there is this large figure, an amorphous body that is covered in eyes that open as your magic hits, and you hear in your head a voice saying, "Your chance of retribution is past." And you take 10 points of dark damage.
Okay. Well.
As you see the villain is completely just turns to you. There's like a slight crack in the glass plate already in his face, and just quietly coming out from underneath that helmet, you just hear a voice going, "What was that?" That was your turn, I think.
I mean, yeah, that's my action.
That was quite the action. 35 points of damage. Wow. We're switching over back to the villains, and this villain you're fighting, actually, as he's considered a champion, he gets a second action on his turn. And he's going to try to get that clock to add a slice to the pie of doom. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna spend one of his Ultima points to re-roll that too. Which,
If I didn't want the XP, I'd very much be saying right now, you could just not spend the point. Just carry on.
Could, but I want to spend it.
Spend the point. Spend it. Spend the point.
And with that,
11.
there is one slice added to the clock. As recovering from that blow, the villain is getting back control of the panel, moving some bits and bobs, and you can hear the humming of electricity as these cables and everything start getting charged with that energy. And at this point, the player sides don't have any actions left. Yao and Yuan are fighting in the background, but we still have one of the Shadow Wheels who can take an action. And this Shadow Wheel, the other Shadow Wheel, this is the one that is not guarding the villain at this point, is going to fire a Chaos Dart at Enluara. And that means I will have to roll I'm assuming that your magic defense and Luara is not 14. Means
It's 11, I think. Double check. But I
Yeah.
think it's 11.
there's this dark magic blast that hits you as you take 12 points of dark damage, and also you get the weak status condition.
All right. Two things. Does like damage reduction from armor apply here?
Does your armor give you any kind of damage reduction?
1 point. Let me just double check if it's not specific to
Yeah, because if
damage
it's
type.
magic or not. 'Cause
Yeah.
it might have that, but you do have to check whether it's magic or physical that it repels.
Yeah, I'm checking. And I'm gonna do my painful lesson in the meantime while I look that up. So I get to roll. What is it again? Inspect its insight, right?
Yes.
So that's
Insight.
Which is not great. It's just double 6. Let's go. Double D6. And I don't think I like this roll. If I roll a double 1, does something bad happen?
Oh,
Yes.
Yes.
Actually,
I will
yes.
spend a Fabula points to reroll this dice.
Oh lordy, please do.
Oh,
Yes. Okay. Right. No, I don't.
can't before
I
you
refuse.
reroll the dice. Just so you know, if you don't reroll it and you allow the critical failure to happen, you gain a Fabula point.
It's too early in the combat for this.
All right, gotcha.
All right, I will spend a Fabula point and reroll this. And that's a double 5.
Double 5.
Yeah.
Did
10
you reroll
total.
Did you reroll both of the die?
Yes.
With the Fabula
Only
point,
do
you
one.
only reroll one of the die.
In any case, that's a 1 and a 5.
It's a 6 then. All right.
Yeah.
At least it's not a critical. It's not a critical
Oh
failure.
lord.
And as you're being blasted by that magic, you can unfortunately not gather any information about these creatures.
Yes.
But you do take 12 points of dark damage from them.
Yeah, so my armor says dexterity +1, insight +1 is supposed. What does that mean for the armor?
The
Like-
+1 is just the total defense stat will be increased by 1.
but it's-
so that doesn't reduce the damage. It's just making the range they have to hit much higher.
A little
Exactly.
higher, yeah. So that's
Yeah,
how I get the
so-
11.
Yeah,
yeah,
so no
so-
reduction.
So that's
Mhm.
12
itself.
points of damage.
Okay, then. So yeah. And we didn't clear up the damage from the last battle, did we?
No, you didn't rest. There was no resting.
There was no
in
time.
Fantastic. Okay.
I had to patch up. I had to get rid of my status effect, and I had to patch
Exactly.
up both of you in MP, but not health.
Yeah.
I am absolutely.
Well, wait, you did use your spell to heal folks. So if you
I
had
did,
used it on
right?
yourself, yeah.
But I don't remember how much.
No,
that
but you
was
didn't. You
then.
didn't use it on yourself. What we actually had in the last session, there was this because you didn't use it on yourself because you were still pretty okay on hit points.
Yeah, I think
And
yeah. That
so
was,
you only paid the mind points to do it on the two others.
yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So you are still
So-
hurt.
So it's 41 minus 17 total. I am in crisis. Not
You're
that it
in
makes any sense
crisis.
right now. Yes.
And with one of the player characters in crisis, we wrap up round 1 and move over into round 2, which does start again on the side of the player characters. Who wants to do the honors at the top of round 2?
Oh, I remember. I'm sorry. I remember why I got 1 damage reduction. It's because of my defensive mastery. That's it.
Ah.
I get 1 less damage. That's it.
So it looks like the slow isn't gonna do much if they have magical attacks.
Yeah.
But attacking the villain also fucking hurt. So
this is a matter of which would you like to do first? Which would you like to
Can I
risk?
protect? Is it possible to protect Sable?
no, because I'm pretty sure because it's a
Roll.
retaliation against
Yeah,
my
it's not
my
a
Alright.
attack.
Alright.
I'm pretty sure. So unfortunately, I don't think it's gonna do much. So basically,
Wait,
what
hold
you
on,
saw
swap
happen
brains.
is they cast this giant iceberg spell, and then immediately their nose started bleeding.
Wow. That's
And I'm gonna let you guys go first and see how things turn out and see how I can be the most useful at the end.
Mm. Vivi is gonna try and do study. I'm just gonna roll it and then see which one seems more appropriate to you, Marcus, to actually get information from. Because I want to say about the clothed individual, but I don't know also whether whatever the hell that thing that just hit Sable was is a separate entity or not.
Fair point. Give me that insight.
I don't. I think even if I wanted to do that, I don't think Vivi knows enough just yet. So I'd say I think it's fair that I have to at least get one on the clothed individual to see what the hell is going on.
Understood. Let's see how this goes. Inside and insight for a study check.
Yeah, that is so inspect.
Oh, alternatively, I forgot my spell does way more than just slow. And Luara, if you want, I can use that, and you can immediately perform the equipment action for free, so you can heal yourself with a potion and then still get your turn.
okay.
And then
do I
get
have
your
a potion,
turn
though?
immediately after me.
Everyone, if you spend the inventory points, everyone always has access to basic actions in inventory. My stuff is just different because I have, because I've taken levels in Tinkerer that lets me have more expanded options. But everyone in general has the basic remedy, shard, tent, and healing items.
Yeah.
But you do have to spend. You would probably have less points, but I don't think you've spent any inventory points. It'd be great. That is a 13, Marcus.
Yeah.
Let's first go back. Let's first go back on that study action.
Yeah,
And
13.
That
5
was
and 8, so no 6s.
5 and 8,
no.
total of 13 on that study action.
13.
As you're trying to just understand what is going on here.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. I will say my intent is I am trying to figure out the best way to disrupt this from happening, whether or not there's something that involves fighting whatever the hell that thing in it is, hurting him, or just disrupting the panel. Because I have seen that hitting him in some capacity has that feedback loop, but I don't know if it's magic. I don't know if it's physical or what it is, but my intent is just to figure out what will disrupt this the most effectively. That's my question.
Kind of how to end this quickly, right?
Pretty much. If not quickly, then at least more effectively.
All right. A 13 is a pretty good roll here. And Vivi is not unfamiliar to kind of the technological concepts behind a wellspring and the likes. You have not seen a wellspring this close often, or maybe never before, but you kind of understand the concepts, kind of the ideas of all the gizmos and gadgets that are attached to it. And you do get the idea that someone, maybe it's this white-clothed person or someone else, has been meddling for a while with the entire setup here. There's things here that shouldn't be here. And from what you gather, if you want to interrupt what's happening here, you either need to know which parts of this machine you have to disable. That can take a lot of time, but would be the safest way of disengaging it. Or you need to get over to that dashboard, that button panel, and start turning it down from there. While there is someone right next to you who is also trying to do the opposite of that.
So basically, it would mechanically, it would either be doing taking actions to move towards the objective of lowering the clock, or basically canceling out any progress that the clock is making. Either way, it will not stop it until either the panel is fully in our control or he's taken down so that he's not actively pushing it forward. Those are the two best methods we have.
Exactly.
I will say for the end of her turn, just narratively, she is moving closer to the panel to be right next to him to get his attention.
Getting over there.
I haven't done anything mechanically to make him focus on me, but she basically just calls out to the group that we need to either take care of him or I need time to work on the panel. That's the most I can give everybody. And she is just like imagining the eye wheel thing, like trying to reach out and grab her. And she's like, nope, I don't like this. Her braid is out. Her hair is flying everywhere. And she does not look great. That's
hair
me.
flying
That's my
everywhere. As you move over, getting closer there. And we move over to the villain side. We actually move to the villain who sees Vivi approaching and is doing double time, trying to get this machine to do what he wants. Going to spend his action to see if he can advance the clock. That's a total of 13 we got there. That advances the clock over to 2 out of 6 slices. But we're also back over to the party side. Who is going to take the next turn?
My suggestion, just a suggestion, obviously feel free to say no, is that I use my timey-wimey bullshit to you get and Luara, you get to immediately perform the equipment action for free. And you get to you get to immediately do the equipment action for free, or you can take your turn right after me.
Well, I was actually gonna tell you to just go for it and mow down against this guy, because I still got some healing left, some healing magic left.
Okay. Well, I can't directly attack him without dying.
Eating
so
it.
I will attack
Oh,
the
I
shadow creatures
see.
instead then.
That makes sense. No, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Well,
because
yeah.
they just lost a third of their health getting hit by one thing.
Yeah, well, if you want to do that, then, and then I can heal us after, and that will open the way for me to just like get close to the guy anyway.
Okay. I will attempt to attack the one that is guarding the villain then.
Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
That is a 5. So I might be cheeky and use my lucky break ability.
Because that started out again at a 7 at the
a
start
7,
of that set.
yeah.
So,
And a 7 plus 3 is a 10, which might actually hit.
You might actually be right, because it does hit.
Okay. So again, you have that weird sort of twisting feeling in your gut as it looks like their magic is about to miss, and then it doesn't. And once again, this black iceberg forms around this thing. This is costing me like so much MP, you guys, but it's basically what I've got right now. Doing that 7 plus 25, 32.
32.
Cold damage. And that damage ignores any resistances they might have.
That is great that you mentioned that. And that ice envelops the shadow wheel. And as it cracks apart again, the shadow wheel is destroyed. One shadow wheel down, one left.
Nice.
And that is your turn, I think.
Yep.
Okay. We're going over back to the villain. And actually, it's the villain using his second turn this round. And is going to try to advance the clock again. It was a total of 4. The dice are on your side, as there is no advancement on the clock. And we go back to the party with only Enluara's turn remaining.
So now I see as we're getting like a lot of aggression is heavy in return. So I am going to Enluara is going to raise her sword, magical girl style, and then she's going to summon healing powers to bait herself and Sable.
All right.
And I don't need any rolls for this. I just get everyone 40 hit points back.
Sable and yourself.
Yeah, we should be back
All
to
right.
full. Both, right?
Yep, definitely.
Yep, that's it. So
I don't even
Enluara-
have 40 health.
There you go. Enluara, so Enluara sees like how shit is gonna get like real ugly, and she raises her weapon, and light emanates from it, and a beam from the sky baits both of us, even though there's no sky. Don't ask. And we are healed.
Sable's
Right.
nose stops bleeding.
Are you okay?
I think so. Thank you.
Hang in tight.
And
Don't
with the
don't,
healing...
don't attack the dude directly. That hurt. Ow.
And
What?
with the healing magic enveloping both of you, the remaining Shadow Wheel is taking the last turn for this round and is actually going, as Vivi was heading over to the console, is turning towards Vivi and is going to fire a Chaos Dart at Vivi. Man, does a 12 hit you?
Unfortunately, it does. Mine's only 11.
That is a total of 13 dark damage in that case, as chaotic energy blasts into your back. And you also gain the weak condition.
Joke's on you. I don't use might that much.
Oh, it can't get lower than a d6 for you.
No, it's still a d8, so now it is going to be a d6,
Okay.
but I'm still like, joke's on you. All of my stuff, I focus on dexterity and insight. So it sucks to your weakened.
We that's the status that I got too, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So we're both currently not having a fun time as far as status effects go.
Yes.
2 people in the party weakened at this point. However, hit points have been restored, and one of the Shadow Wheels is down as we go into round 3, starting on the player character sides again. Who's going to kick off the next round?
I think I might attempt to do the slow anyway, because both of you now have status effects. I don't know how much they're using their decks, but it might do something.
All right.
If you two are okay with that.
Yep. I'm good with that.
Okay. So, Sable once again raises their staff, and this weird energy radiates out, reverberating in everyone's chest as let me check my MP costs here. 1 second. Sorry.
Mage is casting flare every turn and then realizing, shit, I can't cast my basic spells anymore. I needed him.
Well, there's two enemies left, so I'm going to affect both of them. I am very quickly running out of MP, but I think it's worth it.
Because are you using Stolen Time for that?
Stolen time, yeah, on both of
Stolen
them.
Time up to skill level times 5 mind points. For every 5 mind points, how many skill levels do you have in Stolen Time?
1.
So you can spend one, and then you can choose one option, one creature you
Oh,
can suffer
okay.
slow.
Yeah. So
I
wait,
will
yeah,
apply
so
it to the
fine.
villain then. It's not direct
To the-
damage, so hopefully it won't hurt.
We're about to find out.
So
So-
you're gonna apply slow, and
Yes.
that lowers the dexterity.
Yes.
All right. As you see, actually, your magic. What does it look like when you put stolen time on the villain?
Well, it's this sort of weird bubble that forms around them. It doesn't stop them from moving, but it does kind of make them look like they're moving in slow-mo.
Moving slow motion, as the villain is affected by this, and it is not followed up by a nosebleed. So that ends your turn, and the villain being slowed down now. And I'm going to put this above the table. That D12 I am including in the rolls for the villain to advance the clock. That was a D12 on dexterity. That has now been downgraded to a D10 thanks to slow.
Nice.
So,
Okay.
Oh boy.
he's going to spend his action to see to advance the clock.
Yeah.
But that is
Rolls
still
really
enough
well.
to
God damn it.
advance, and we are at 3 out of 6 slices. As now you can see along the cables and everything, there's this electricity scattering over it towards the wellspring, and sometimes these flashes of purple come from within it. And the villain, through a slightly shattered glass plate, looks at it, and you can hear, yes, almost. But we're back over to the player characters. It's either Vivi or Anluara. Who's going to go up next?
Do you mind if I take that, Inuara?
Go for it. I'll follow
Okay.
your lead.
Vivi is going to use the most tried and true method of trying to stop this individual, which is magic. What I will be doing mechanically, I'm going to try to roll something for objective, and I'm aiming here for trying to interrupt the process in whatever way I can, and tell me if this doesn't work or if this doesn't make sense. I am because the individual is like focusing and doing like somatic components and all these sorts of things, and while also interacting with the panel, correct?
Exactly.
Narratively, I would like to suggest her eyes glow white, or start going that white that's only ever happened around Sable. And she is trying to essentially just grab hold of the individual, the villain, and then also trying to take over the console. But it's like whatever spiritist energy that she can never actively use on her own, but is part of her heritage and her mother's like influence on her. She is just trying to like pull control back away through the mix of magic and technology. But she's essentially like, no, stop it. Bad.
Can you give me an insight plus willpower for this one?
I figured
try
it'd be
to-
willpower. It's what I know. It's not my highest, but it makes sense. Oh boy. Gotta give it a shot. I'm gonna try.
5 and a 3.
I'm gonna spend another Fabula point. This is too
To
important.
reroll that 3.
Yeah. So that puts me at 2 points I've spent. And I'll say, well, it could be either her town, her origin, or her identity both work here.
There's
So I'm gonna give
a
it a
lot
shot.
that's applying here.
Oh boy, please be better. Nope.
You reach over, interrupting, calling upon whatever kind of spiritist lessons and knowledge you have. And you do succeed in shoving the person. You have your hands on him, and you try to pull out just this bit of spiritist energy. The one thing you do notice is as you do that and you kind of catch yourself with one hand on the console and push up where your hand was, there's a flower blooming. But the figure itself is still working away. Progress is still at 3 out of 6 at this point.
Yeah. Makes sense. I figured she's not physically the strongest person, and the shadow effect from the dart is just making it worse. That's my turn. That's all I could do.
Right. With that, we do switch over to the villain side for the second turn of the villain, who's now right next to Vivi, sees her there, and shakes his head, and you're saying, "Too late to interfere, daughter of Emanuele." And he's going to attack you, like fling around his long elongated arms. You notice that at the end of these arms and these hands, these claws have popped out and are going to try to swing at you. Is again reduced because slowed what I'm allowed to roll. Does a 9
It
hit
just
you?
hits me because my armor gets me up to 9.
That is a total of 11 points of physical damage to you as these claws just go ching ching against you. And that ends the villain's turn and brings us over to Enluara remaining on the player side.
So now, are there other ways to, in general, are there other ways to interact with a foe without dealing damage, like to take them out, or do I have to knock their hit points out to, grappling, I don't know, knocking out, I don't know.
What is it you're trying to achieve in this case?
I would like, so if we hurt this enemy, like Sable gets hurt, so are there ways to deal with them to incapacitate them that do not involve hurting, like physical damage or not?
Because you're trying to disable the or take out the villain here. So from what you would have gathered, and Sable would maybe briefly have communicated that especially its magic, at the moment when they cast magic at the villain, that kind of reverberated back and dealt damage to them.
Okay.
And the villain is now no longer being covered by one of the shadow wheels. So you do have an opening there.
Well, I'm gonna take the risk and just like, So you see Enluara hesitating for a moment as she sees, like, that this is going north really quickly, and but there's she knows one thing and on one thing only when it comes to fighting, and she will do it, and she will just like go at this guy with all that she's got. And well, I attack with willpower, so it's 2d8.
Let's go.
So that's what I'm doing. And without Fabula points, I don't have any other ways to like get a bonus or anything, right?
Nope.
No. All right. I got a double 2. That's
Double
not
2.
enough. Yeah.
That does go wide.
Yeah. If I use Shadow Strike, I could hit potentially, but I don't know if that's gonna hit. If that's gonna reverberate on Yeah. You see, like, as Enluara tries to attack and the thing, like the whatever they are, they just evade, like there is a flicker of darkness over her blade, and then she hesitates again. It's like, and then she curses something in a language that you don't understand.
I have a brief question for Enluara before we wrap up your turn. Enluara is not from the planet of Thea, right? She's from one of the moons.
That's true.
Does she have any kind of communications device or anything that can contact the people on her home moon?
Well, I have not considered that, but if I suppose if I can spend equipment points, I could have it.
I would, even without you spending equipment points, you could just, if that's something that she would have, I would imagine, since she is from a pretty important family up there, she would probably have something to keep in touch with them, right?
Yeah, I would say so, yeah.
Yeah.
So how would that work? Is messaging like an instant thing?
The reason I'm asking is mostly just to know if Enluara would have something like that. And for now, if you would say she has something like that, that's okay. But you're also free to say no, she doesn't have it on her or something.
Yeah, I think it would make sense. Yeah, I think it would make sense. Would it be like so this is a direct question of like what my character does and knows about the world over what I know. So would it make sense for Enluara to like be in touch over time, like in general, to like, hey, I'm just going about here and blah 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 blah, just like if she wanted to, because I think that's what the way she's proper and like, to the letter and following all of this kind of stuff, I'd say that she would keep reports of stuff. Maybe
specifically also with some of her sisters as well.
I would say so, yeah.
All right.
I have not considered much of her family thing.
All right,
but I have thoughts. Yeah, I have thoughts that her closest relationship is actually with her surrogate mother.
Right. That's good to know that you at least have something to communicate. I might get back to that later. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. So that wraps up Enluara's turn at this point, and brings us over to the final turn of the remaining Shadow Wheel, who is going to fire another Chaos Dart at Sable. And that is 10. I think a 12 hits Sable.
Yeah.
That is a total of 12 points of dark damage, and you suffer there we go. Protect. So instead, Enluara takes the 12 points of dark damage. But Enluara is also already weakened, so you cannot be weakened again.
Right.
Yeah, and that is
not half, but a third.
A third, yeah. Interjecting with the course of the Chaos Dart and also ending the Shadow Wheel's turn, bringing us back to the top of initiative. Round 4 already. We're at 3 out of 6 slices on the clock. Vivi is trying to interfere, and Enluara is fighting. Sable is blasting. Who's kicking it off at the top of round 4?
Unless anyone has an objection, I'll just report. I'll just riposte. How do you pronounce the word riposte?
Riposte?
Riposte, I believe.
Riposte.
Oh, it's riposte. It is riposte. I thought it was riposte.
Riposte.
The more you learn.
Yes.
At the Shadow Wheel, or at the...
Oh, actually not. At the yeah. I'll just take that. So I defend. You know what? Is it hurt? Is the Shadow Wheel kind of damaged?
No. It hasn't
no,
been
the
damaged
Shadow
at
Wheel,
all.
we haven't touched it yet because we've been two
No.
of us have been trying to deal with the villain.
Yeah. So as a reflexive maneuver, Enluara just turns around and just attacks it with full might. and
The villain. Correctly?
she just jumps to take the strike in place of Sable, and when she does, she like curses again, and you have never seen her curse, and you don't understand what she's saying, but you know it is a cursing. Yeah, and I got a 7
Against the villain or the shadow wheel?
the shadow.
The shadow wheel.
Yeah,
That does not hit.
yeah, I thought so.
It's you. But you did make sure that Sable was safe from harm, and the shadow wheel certainly knows you're...
I want. Can I retroactively analyze when I got hit?
Let's say you could still do that study check there. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it is insight again, right? To the 6.
Insight plus insight. So.
Just a 5. No, nothing impressive.
All right. All right. That brings us over to the villain side again.
I tell Sable, stay behind me.
And the villain is going to roll and try to still advance the clock even further. We are now at 4 out of 6 slices on the clock. As we go back to the player character side, just 2 slices remaining until this doomsday clock has ended ticking. Who is going to take their turn?
Question. I don't need to take my turn right now, but question for my turn. Should I be focusing on damage or should I be focusing on trying to help reduce the clock?
I don't think there's a bad... Neither of those is a bad option. I think both of them will help. Killing him will get him out of the way, which gives me space to not get wrecked and work on the panel. But doing something with the panel when we have 2 things left is still helpful. So it's a matter of what you think Sable would do in this situation. Because
why don't you do your turn first, and we'll see.
Yeah, Vivi is at half health, by the way, folks. So I will need to heal somebody at some point, but I'm trying to hold out as long as I can. I am going to try objective again for my turn. I'm not getting anywhere hurting him. I'm just going to try and once again interact with the panel as best as I can.
Are you still trying to call upon whatever kind of spiritist knowledge you have, or is this more the technologically minded?
Technological. This is pure insight she's shooting for.
Absolutely. Insight plus insight. Let's go. And let the dice be on your side for now. I am having my fingers crossed here because the dice have no mercy on you so far.
Terrible today at our dice rolls.
Oh, that's a 3 and a 2 on 2d10.
Yeah, it's the last one. Last
Fabula point?
That's all 3 of my Fabula points to try and do this.
Let's let it be worth it. Come on, come on.
Please. It was worth it.
Wow. Whoa.
3 plus 9. That is 12.
So that is 12.
Oh, for Christ's sake. Why, game?
We're going down
even
from
swingier than D20s are. And I specifically didn't play a D20 system to avoid this. Oh, God.
The good news is we're going down from 4 slices to 3 slices. You have pushed back the clock successfully and have worked against whatever this villain is plotting.
Yeah. I'm imagining this is just her. This is her digging into her pack that she has a glove specifically designed to interact safely with Magitech, and just shoving her hand into a component of it to prevent it from shocking her, but she is like disrupting it as best she can.
Fantastic.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, wow. Amazing. As Vivi interrupts that progress there, the villain looks at you just messing around with what he's trying to do, and he's like, can't have that now. And
We will until you take me out. I'm not letting this get corrupted.
oh, I think the taking out part will be the fun part. And the villain you see briefly is enveloped in this shadowy smoke. And his movement, his outlines, he's still like slower moving because this slow time thing from Sable is affecting him. But now he seems to be using his own dark, shall I say, entropic magic against it and trying to accelerate his movement even further. And this allows him, he's spending some mind points for this, but it allows him to make 2 attacks against you. And you just see these arms now rushing out at you. So I will be.
This is going to hurt. Going to hurt a lot.
This is the first one. It's a 12 that hits you.
12 hits.
That is 11 points of physical damage. And the second attack is a 9 that's just hits you, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And that's 10 points of physical damage.
I protect.
You can't, because it's not your turn again. You only get it once per round. So I'm imagining this is now like Vivi's armor is getting wrecked at different spots. All of the shadow magic is like cleaving through her, and there's definitely like I think it's actually their spiritist energy that's coming out of, instead of blood to avoid the gore aspects. I think it is actual like ethereal like energy just coming out of her.
It's ethereal energy floating out of the parts in your armor that are opened as you're staggered from this blow. And we switch back over to the player character side, which I think is only Sable's remaining turn.
Yep. Just me. So question again.
Let's go.
Damage or turning back the clock, or attempting to.
I'm gonna say hurt him. Vivi's willing to go down if it means that you can stop it as quickly as possible.
Okay.
Vivi is just gonna like tell you, like through very like staggered breathing, just stop him.
Okay.
She's
Well,
rough.
I can't use my spells, really. So let's see. I think Sable, in like confusion of oh shit, what am I supposed to do, has made their way towards the console as well. Considering Endluar is engaging the shadow thing, and it's just sort of standing there looking back and forth, trying to figure out what to do, and then is going to attempt to just hit the guy with his staff.
With the staff, just smacking with the staff.
Smacking with the staff, yep.
All right.
I really hope this is where the roll is very good, just because I think it would be funny.
Fingers crossed, fingers crossed.
It's a double 5. I don't know if that hits.
It's a 10.
It's a 10, and it's against...
Also a double.
Well, it has to be at least double 6s to be a crit.
Does a 10 hit?
It does.
Oh,
Yes! Yes!
It does. Whacking with the staff hits him.
okay, that's 11 physical damage.
11
As
physical.
They just take this sleek onyx magical staff with a gnarled top with like an almost eye-shaped gem at the top of it, and just smacks this person in the head against the glass, if at all possible.
You hear, because the villain was still facing Vivi with the attacks, and then you come up there with the staff, kind of attacking from behind, and you can hear from underneath the hood, there is indeed this sound, as apparently there's even more cracks in the glass of what's underneath there. And the person the head just turns in a 180 degree to look at you, Sable. And while the arms are still on the other side, reaching for Vivi. And from underneath the cracked glass, you just hear this. Interesting. And I guess that's your turn.
Yep.
So we had Vivi, we had no, actually, we still can go back to the villain side, and we still have the remaining wheel, the shadow wheel, which is going to do another chaos dart, and Luara. Say. But no, a 3 does not hit Enluara. A total of 3. That was a 2 and a 1. That goes wide and brings us back over to the player side. And I think Enluara is the only one remaining this round.
All right. So
she can protect me.
Yes, I am going to. Okay, so I lost focus for a moment, and I'm seeing what's happening to Vivi and thinking, oh crap, this is bad. And I am going to use my last bit of magic to heal Vivi, who's looking pretty hurt. And I only have enough for one go, so... And Luara just meekly raises her sword again because she's weak. And, a beam of light, moon glow comes down from the sky on top of Vivi, and Vivi is healed. Don't look up.
I like how someone who has folk here in the party. It's really useful. All of mine cost a lot to use. Oh God!
You regain the hit points from the warming and soothing moonlight. Moonbeam healing.
It is moonbeam healing. That's so cool.
Moonbeam, yes, of course it's moonbeam healing. What kind of healing do you think I'd bring?
This process is so good.
Everything I do is moon related, including the darkness.
Including the dark. I suddenly felt the chill down my back. Oh, that's great. Okay.
Bloom is tidally locked, so plenty of darkness to play with.
Yeah. So that comes back to, that us, Marcus? Is that the end of the round?
Yes, we're starting round 5, back to the player characters again.
Is he looking pretty hurt?
He's looking beaten up. There was glass cracks in the glass and everything. Some of the white of the ropes is not so immaculate anymore at this point.
I had a thought, but then I realized, no, I can't do it. I was hoping I was going to suggest, can I make it an auto hit for me if I'm willing to take the hit of one of my own elemental shards to hit him as well? But I don't need to do that because it's technically an auto hit action anyways. I mean, it would be funny, but probably not. Trying to think. And you said he has the 2 attacks? Does that mean does that mean an additional turn, or he's just getting 2 attacks on his turn?
No, he just has gotten 2 attacks on his turn because he's used a spell of his to do that.
That's what I figured.
But he also still has 2 turns that he could take.
Yeah, which means he could do more. I'm going to take a risk. Just so that I'm going to see if I can take a risk to make it easier for Enluara to get over here, and if I can wreck him, because we need to get rid of at least one of them to make this easier on ourselves, because they both hurt. she is going to, I think with the healing happening, she's just looking him right wherever his arms have been like clawing at her, and she's just like spits out like a bit, and then she's gonna take a shot at the other wheel that's still up.
All right.
Even with 2 more progress, we can still handle a little bit more. But I'd rather just deal with this so Luara has space to do things. So that is going to be short bow, dex.
Dex.
Which
Crit.
that's a crit.
That is indeed a crit because we got double 6s on that. That is a total of 12, and that does hit. And that means since you're critting, you can
Get
use
an opportunity.
An opportunity.
I'm just pulling up the opportunities page.
Yes, we got a crit, we got a crit, we got a crit.
It took so many bad rolls to finally get a crit in a decent moment.
Oh, progress. You may fill or erase up to 2 sections on a clock. That's one of the opportunities that you can take.
Oh, I'm taking that one. I know exactly what happens.
Tell us.
Because you said the clothed individual has like the multiple hands that are obviously like at work on the panel and everything, right?
Right.
Okay. She just looks square in the eyes of it. It's like, and she just kind of like grins for a second, because I think she the last time she fired the shot, it just didn't get anywhere, and I'm assuming like he's just like she's gonna miss again. She's like, think fast, and she like fires right, so it goes right behind him. Imagine he gets like a nice shit-eating grin, but it hits the wheel, and the way that it reduces, fragments of it peel off and just puncture different arms, so that it just makes his progress entirely fucked up.
Shadowy shrapnel scatters there indeed. And we move back to just 1 slice being filled. Just to call this out, we were at 4 just like a hot minute ago or something. And you push this back to 1 slice out of 6.
I love opportunities. I'd like to state this is a new favorite of this game. I like
And Laura screams, Viva!
And also, of course, you still deal damage. That's a grand total of 14 damage to that wheel as you hit it. And a very great turn comes to an end with that.
Eat it. Eat it. That's me. Not Vivi. Vivi's just tired. Me, Angela, the player, is fuck you. Double fuck you.
The villain is slowly recovering from this shadowy spray that has come up, noticing that all of the levers are in the wrong place. All these progress bars have reset. There is the wellspring looks too stable. This is not part of the plan. And I'm actually going to use another Ultima point to have the villain recover from any status effects applying to him. So he's no longer slowed. And he's going to, again, glow in a shadowy aura, speeding up its movements, and is gonna lay down on Vivi. And while he's doing that, he's just cackling. And that is, with no longer the slowed being applied.
Dice, if ever you liked me, could thank you.
Just
9
hits.
still hits. It still
9
hits.
just hits. So that is 10 points of physical damage.
I'll take
And
it.
That and Luara will take.
Oh, because now she can indeed protect again. So that is.
I don't know
indeed-
though. But 10 points of damage, your full health, I think. No, actually, I think I'll hold on because if Sable gets a very screwed up hit, this round still. Right.
I
would be
you healed me
wise,
up,
yeah.
I can tank some damage.
Yeah,
I
actually, yeah.
thankfully, because of my build, I also do have some health. So
Yeah.
it's
So
okay.
no, I'm actually gonna hold back.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, but the villain has used some shadowy magic to do this attack again. So there's another attack against Vivi.
Yep.
But that does not hit. That one goes wide.
Ah.
As that ends the villain's turn and brings us back to the player characters. We have either Sable or Enluara still up.
I don't mind.
All right.
Yeah, Sable go first. Yeah, Sable go first because you can get to do something, and I still get to. Protect
Do
you
I
against the
attempt to
ground grenade.
remove the last segment, or do I try and hit the guy again? I just realized I miscalculated how much MP I have left. I have 1 iceberg left I can do. Exactly 1. Do I do that on the shadow wheel, or do I attempt to hit the figure?
It's your call. It's the progress is not down enough because of the opportunity that
Yeah.
we could risk it a little bit more now. It's your
Yeah.
call.
Okay. Sable,
just-
seeing that Vivi has just made the best comeback of the century, just decides, well, we need to deal with this shadow thing that's constantly hitting us with shadow magic, and raises their staff, and this thudding reverberation like a deep bass speaker thrums in your chests as they attempt to cast Iceberg again at the
Let's
shadow wheel.
go.
That is a 9.
That is a 9, and that is enough to hit.
Oh, okay. That's good. So that is a 6 plus 25, 31 ice
And
damage.
That also destroys that shadow wheel as it is scattered apart, its essence fading. Which leads us back to the villain's turn, who is looking at Sable blasting award these chaos shards. The head still 180 degrees spun towards Sable, and the villain is going to spend some more shadowy magic and make some attacks against Sable.
There.
That is a 17.
Yeah.
For a grand total of 17 physical damage.
Ouch.
Is Enluara going to protect that?
Of course.
Enluara intercepts there, taking the 17 damage instead. But there is a
Yeah.
second attack also coming for Sable. And that is a 5 that goes wide. That goes very wide.
Oh my God.
And actually is going pretty
Can
much
I just say that
nowhere.
maybe that it's not elegant at all? It's just Sable turned to look at him and slipped on their cloak and just barely dodged out of the way by accident.
Yes, yes, that's it. That's absolutely it.
Yeah.
As that
And Laura gets hits square in the chest. Just Sable, you need to be less targetable, child.
And with that, we move over to the player characters again, with Enluara being the final one for the player characters. And it's just the villain remaining.
Okay, I will. So I choose an unbridled amount of murder. Okay. And yes. The answer is not violence. Violence is the question. The answer is yes. And I get a 6 and a 3. I don't think that hits.
Is that a 9 by any chance?
It is a 9. It does.
And
Does it? It is a 9.
Let me quickly double check something because I think defense is based on your might die, is it not?
Yup, that's why mine sucks.
So then that roll still hits.
All right, so that's a 12. That's 12 damage total.
12 damage.
Yeah.
All right.
And like and Luara like is holding back because like her instinct is just to like unleash darkness onto them, but then she just remembered the hit that she just took for Sable, and that would go to waste.
Well,
she fears.
that hit that you swung definitely didn't go to waste. It actually finds purchase in the head of the villain.
It's tied to Dex. Sorry.
Is it tied to Dex?
I just checked. Defense is tied to
Yes.
Dex, armor, and shields.
Gotcha. Well, in that case, that does unfortunately not hit.
Not a hit. And I'm sad.
And that one goes not in the head, but like in the chest. And it's just oof sound as all of you are now very close to the villain, around him in this final encounter.
I'll risk it.
What are you risking?
I'll risk it. Sable, please forgive me, but is it okay if I just like it's so close, you know? Like I will try another. Yeah. I'll just try, yes. I'll try my darkness.
All right.
So first I roll 1d6.
Your might die?
The might die, it's d8. It's d6 because it's lowered. So
Yep.
that's a 5. I take 5 damage.
Mm-hmm. And then you can roll another attack.
Now that's a 4 and a 4. So they're nothing.
That goes wide as well.
I still take the damage, right?
Yes, you still take the damage indeed.
Okay.
As you're trying to channel the darkness within you to hit the darkness in front of you. But it is not enough. As that scatters. And we have the party gathered around this villain next to an engine that tries to manipulate the wellspring, which so far you've been having done a magnificent last-minute turn on, reverting the clock. But how will this continue? The fight is not over yet, but what is over is the first half of our session today. As we are moving over to our break for today, we're going to take about a 10-minute break before we come back. Make sure to stretch your legs a little bit. See if no one's trying to put deadly machines to your wellspring or something. And we'll be back in about 10 minutes. So hang in there. See you in a few.
Do cats count as deadly machines?
See you in a few. And we're back. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the second half of today's session of Sixth Moon Saga of Fabula Ultima Actual Play. We are in the depth of an epic fight, which included shadowy, wheelie creatures who got destroyed by icebergs, and still includes a white-clothed figure trying to manipulate the machinery of a wellspring, a magical source of energy and protection. And the party is doing a terrific job at stopping this individual, but the fight is not over yet. We are at the top of, if my calculations are correct, round 5 of this encounter, and it starts on the player character side, which means it's just the player characters now facing the remaining white-clothed villain next to the machinery attached to the manipulated wellspring. Which player character is going to take the first turn on this round?
I am salty that I missed. I want to take the first turn.
Go right ahead.
Go ahead.
That I missed not once but twice.
No, but I believe in your dice. You're gonna hit now. I believe in them.
Yes. Oh, you better, because otherwise they're gonna go into the glass bowl of shame. Okay, here we go. What's matter? Okay, so no, I got a 5, I got a 1 and a 4, and I'm still gonna do the Shadow Strike because that's what I got left.
All right, so first you also don't forget to roll your might die to see how much damage you get
Yes.
from the Shadow Strike.
I got a 2.
2 damage. And, then you
And
can
I
see
got a
if you
total of 11.
total of 11.
Yeah.
This does not hit, unfortunately.
I am out of
As your weapon approaches, charged with the shadowy energy, you see the villain just last moment. You're pretty sure they stood where you tried to hit, but then they're just a few inches away from your weapon, just sidestepping your attack.
You see that in Luara's hands, like every time the blast of the Shadow Strike, you know, it is a little bit like a small explosion, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And you may have noticed, like, we have never seen her use it so many times in a row. And this is the first time you notice, like, the hands all the way up, almost to the elbows, they look coated in a sort of black suit, you know, of both hands, as, you know, she holds the... And you're not sure if that's, like, just a kind of a actual suit or her hands are burned.
Ooh, all right.
How bad you looking, and Luara? Like, on a scale of 0 to crisis, where are we at here?
I am on 0 dot crisis. Like, I'm almost there.
Oh boy.
I'm almost
Okay.
in crisis.
So it's
Talking
there.
about crisis.
I
Oh, yeah.
haven't. I don't. Just so you are aware, because Enluara has taken all my hits, I currently do not have any damage.
I feel like that's just about to change because Marcus, I heard the
Oh,
word
I'm
speaking
sure,
of
but
crisis.
for right now,
In this
Yes,
moment, as you were
why did
speaking,
you actually... Yes, you chose the poor moments to mention that.
These accusations, they are wild. Anyhow,
they're accurate.
it is the villain side, and we only have one villain left there who is looking at the work that has been undone of the machine that tried to manipulate the wellspring. And the villain then just stands there and, still drawing from what remaining magical energies in them, the villain accelerates his movement insanely again and then takes one strike, the first strike, at Vivi. So there's a 7 that doesn't hit because Vivi has a defense of 9, and the
Suddenly
second
very glad my dex is a D8 in size.
and the second attack goes against Sable, which is an 11,
yep.
which is a total of 11 damage as well then.
Okie dokie.
And the villain just looks, the head moving in these wild angles from side to side, cracked faceplate, and the cackling continues as we're back over to the player characters with either Vivi or Sable up next.
Can I soak up that damage?
You did the protection last round, and you had your
And I just had
turn
an
last
action.
round, or
Yeah.
so you could jump in to try to protect the damage.
Up to you.
How much damage did Sable take again?
That was
11.
11.
11.
11, yeah, I better
Sable
take
hasn't
that.
been hurt yet, but Sable also
Yeah.
cannot take very many hits.
Yeah, I better take that. Yeah, so I'm gonna eat that with the maple syrup.
Thank
And
you.
yes, and then you see that Enluara is just like once again pushing Sable away, you know, and raising her sword. Like every time she defends, most times when she defends, whenever she can, she uses either her sword or you know, just the plate on her chest over her, that, you know, and or whatever, you know, she does something, but she just pushes Sable away and takes a Can the cat please stop pawing the camera?
I was
I am
wondering
so
why it was
sorry.
moving a little bit.
I am so sorry. It was the cat.
It was for dramatic effect.
Yeah.
Also, the
Actually,
cat
thank
is
you,
working for the
Rosalina.
GM.
I, as usual, I am underestimating your contributions.
All right. So, which still means that as the player's initiative turn, it is either Sable or Vivi who's going next.
Let me go.
Sure.
You are out of MP, right?
Yup.
Let's fix that.
Me too.
She just turns to look at the villain, who I imagine is still very angry at all of us right now. Things not going to plan? Have you never learned how to adjust and improvise? She pulls out a shard from her bag. This is a different version. It'll do the same effect. She did this for Sable and then Luara earlier, but she cracks it and like puts it to her chest, and there's the bit of aether that's been flowing out. She infuses it, and I'm going to give I think it's remedy, if I'm remembering correctly. It's a remedy or what have you that will restore 50 MP to Sable, and because Luara has the ring, because of my potion rain, Luara will get 25. So
that
Sable is back up to like almost full on MP, and Luara is doing pretty well. So if Luara wants to heal herself, she can now.
Just for completeness sake, instead of a remedy, there was an elixir then. Because
Elixir.
The elixir
I couldn't remember the name because I know.
Fine.
I think it's like tonic is the healing one. Elixir is the MP. There's named. I want to use them correctly. The elixir. Oh lordy! But
Perfect.
That's her turn. That's her turn. She uses up the last of her inventory points. Hence why she had to like fuel it with her own energy. She's improvising. It's going and checking it on the ground.
You do all of that while looking at the villain, mocking him for the bad time he's having right now.
You had to say it. Oh, gosh.
And the villain sees how magical ether is flowing into Luara and into Sable. And once again, there's another burst of shadowy energy enveloping him. This is not just one attack against Vivi, but let's start with one attack against Vivi. That's a 12. That hits for a total of 15 points of physical damage.
That I already did it. I can't do it again.
And there is the second attack against Vivi, 18, for a total of 16 points of damage from these elongated limbs with claws at their end, just wildly attacking Vivi.
How bad do you look, Vivi?
This is how I improvise. He cackles.
I have 5 HP left. I'm very bad right now.
And that brings us back to the player character side with only Sable remaining.
Question. I don't know how this works. Can I feed Vivi a remedy? Is that a thing I can do?
Yes. Everyone has access to inventory points. It's just tinkerers who can do special things with them, and who often they and wayfarers
I
get
haven't
more
spent
empty.
any yet, and at this point, Sable is for how they panic. They're panicking it's a little different from how most people panic, but for them, they're panicking. And as Vivi is just like on like the edge of collapsing, Sable just like sidesteps the figure and just shoves an elixir I guess it's elixir, right? No, remedy. Shoves a remedy in Vivi's face, basically.
God, I really need to make the taste better for all of us.
How many inventory points does that spend?
That costs you
It should
three.
say, I believe it's 3, yeah. So
Three.
it's like half of your
Okay.
inventory now.
Yes,
But
that's fine.
I'm back to full, so I'm okay with that.
Awesome. Bringing back life to Vivi.
Does that take my action as well?
Yes,
It does.
Yes.
Because
Okay,
it's
that's
using
fine.
inventory.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna die.
Stopping my best friend from dying. Yes.
It's kind of nice.
As you feed Vivi this potion, we wrap up round 5 and we go back top of round 6, which brings us again to the player characters. Who wants to take that first turn?
I think since I have MP again, I will apply stolen time to this dude again.
You're gonna apply stolen time. Let's go.
Yes.
Slowing him down again.
So this like bubble of energy with like little veiny black and purple and green lightning all around it.
And just this slowed movement on the villain now, who has been moving so freaking fast through his dark magic, now once again slowed down. Which brings us over to the villain, who is slowed down now. And I'm just briefly checking up on his... Oh, no. Oh, crap. All right, here's a nice mechanical bit. So every villain has a limited point amount of Ultima points they come with, which they get when you first introduce them.
Oh, no.
And
I know what you're going to do, you fucker. No.
so we have this villain in total spent 4 Ultima points over the course that you've encountered this villain, And this makes it a very hard choice. Slowed is really annoying to have, but I'm gonna deal with it. He's just one single attack against Sable with reduced dexterity from this. That's a 6. That doesn't hit
Nope.
Sable. That
Just barely does not.
that slowed movement coming towards you. Sable is able to dodge that, and we go back to the player character's side.
I kinda imagine Sable just like, and the attack, like, that's all she does, like, and the thing just.
They don't really flinch, but yes, they sort of
Yes.
see it. He's slow enough that they can see it coming.
Awesome. Either Vivi or Luara can take their turn.
Let me take this one. So Vivi is looking fine.
I'm tip top. Same with
yeah.
me. A potion means I'm back
You
up to
are
top. So
good.
fucking wreck him. Just
All
wreck
right.
him.
I'm also
are
good because you have
good.
taken pretty much all of my damage this fight.
That's right. That is what I'm here for. Huh. I am the sponge. Call me the sponge. Don't call me the sponge. I will roll. I will roll to wreck this guy.
Let's go. Let's see how much you score on the scale of wrecking this guy.
I got no, seriously. Like, this is I got a 9, and I'm just gonna roll again because I'm gonna try Shadow Strike there because
Isn't
that's
their
what it
defense
is.
lowered?
Actually, fair point.
Oh,
Fair
I don't know
point.
how low.
9 is still not enough to hit, even with the lower
Oh,
defense.
right, because yeah.
Oh, right, because they have a D12. I forgot about that.
Okay, so I am gonna roll 1d6. That is a 3.
Mm-hmm. But you can make another attack.
I'm gonna take another. Just jot down my damage here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and here we go. I wish this was like bonus to hit instead of extra damage.
it would get broken very
And I
quickly, though.
refuse to say my numbers. It's a 7. It's 1 and
7.
6. I do not. You know, that's it. The two of you are not playing anymore. I'm gonna get other dice. Screw you.
That attack does not deal any damage, and you do have the villain's cackling attention as he's going to attack Enluara with some elongated limbs and claws. But that's a 5 that goes wide. If it is any comfort for you, the villain is not rolling better at this point. And we go back over to the player character side, which means Vivi is the last one remaining, if I've paid attention correctly.
Yep. I am going to try and hit him with my goddamn bow.
With your bow.
Please, please, please hit. Please hit. And D8, which is
A 1 and a 2 on the...
and I don't believe I have any Fabula points left because I have spent so many this session. So that's it. Damn it. I was hoping to knock out more of his MP.
Hey, that's not a double 1. I should have taken that double 1.
It is not a double 1, but it is still one remaining player character's turn because the bad guy is running out of turns at this point, and that means Sable goes next.
I was first. So
Sable went
we
first.
start a new round.
Sable hit.
Oh,
hit
we're
him
already-
with
I
the time.
inflicted the slow at the start of the round, so we're on
Things
the
are
next
going,
round.
things are going fast at this point. We're in the next round already, but it's still the player's turn, but any of you can kick it
Right.
off.
Let me do it, because so I can protect in case shit goes down.
Oh
That
yeah,
makes sense.
that's basically we have to let Enluara do it, otherwise Sable's
Yeah.
gonna take a hit. Shit.
Yeah.
Oh
This is
boy.
getting... I don't
Come
know.
on,
I'm genuinely like you know what? I think I'm gonna go against the usual, and I'm gonna like you see Luar stop for just a moment, and she's like, okay, this can't go on like this, and then she just pulls a little vial, pulls the cork, spits it out, and chugs it down, and breaks the glass onto the floor, and I'm gonna use a point of an inventory point to use a healing
3.
potion.
3 points.
They
Takes
cost
3
you
to
3.
use it.
They cost you 3.
It's 3. How many
It's
do
still-
I have?
6.
You have 6.
Six.
By default.
Unless you've taken levels in something else and you haven't spent them at all at this point.
I
No one
spent
else
the
but me
level.
has been spending them, so everyone is still capped. But so you're at half of your inventory points now.
Okay, so yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. And how many points do I get? How much do I recover?
50, I
50.
believe.
50.
That's
So,
why they're valuable. It's why
yes,
I'm the
I'm
off
back up.
healer, because I can just get everyone patched up very quickly. I just have to
I'm
use
back
a
up
chunk
to
of my resources.
full. And then Anwar just like, clears her mouth, the burns on her hand like recede. There's like still some suits, some marks, like some markings. And then she eyes the enemy and just like makes a full like combat posture, like, okay, I'm gonna take this seriously now.
Amazing. Which brings us over to the enemy, who is seen with what kind of competent opposition he's dealing with at this point. And he's going to attack. Well, and Luara is so offensive in such an offensive position at this point, so he's going to swing with elongated long limbs at Enluara. But does a 9 hit you? No, it doesn't. And this attack does end the turn, which has the GM consider certain
Yeah.
actions for next time,
Anwar just,
and brings us back over to the player characters. So either Vivi or Sable.
I had a terrible
Go
mom,
ahead.
but I had a good teacher.
She is just gonna try and hit him again. This motherfucker needs to go down at this point. I'm tired of this. Oh boy. That is
8 to hit. That is
Nope.
not enough to hit, as he's
he's just not letting either of us hit him. This is just fucking hitting each other with pool noodles at this point. Sable's the only one who could actually hit him.
But he's
Are
like
there-
this, even with the slow time that is this entropic magic that is put on him, his movements are still relatively fast going where they need to be. And
Is there... Sorry, carry on.
no, go ahead, Andawara.
Are there some sort of support actions, like help, or... Because, you know,
I don't
three
think
people...
we have anything else.
Yeah, 3 people trying to hit and missing, like, it's not better than 2 people, like, hitting sometimes. Okay, 2
Absolutely.
people missing because, like, Sebo is actually the only one who's been competent for the past few turns.
Because we're both of us are either healing or keeping them safe.
Well,
You know,
It's a
that's
team
it.
effort at this point.
Currently, he has slow applied to him, and there is, however, one other status effect that can lower dexterity, and that is. Let me look it up.
Regrettably, it's on enraged, which I don't think any of us have a means
Is that
to do. Because
enraged?
even
Is
hinder,
that the other one? Yeah.
yeah,
With
enraged
hinder,
is
you cannot
dexterity
go-
and insight, which means
That's
he can't do
correct.
anything.
He's just a dexterous motherfucker.
Yeah,
He is. But with that, Vivi's attack doesn't hit. We're going over to the villain then for his second turn this round. And he's going to try to attack Vivi. A 9 just hits.
it just
So-
hits.
That's 9 points of damage to Vivi. And that brings us over to the remaining turn on the player side, which is Sable, if I paid attention.
Yes. Well, I still can't use magic against him, so I'm gonna attempt to smack him.
Yeah, murder them to death.
Didn't you? You did get MP, 25 MP
Yes,
at least.
but I don't want to get killed by the reverb.
All right, gotcha.
This is true. The reverb did take like a third of your health, so it's the risk
I
is
have 36 health, guys.
exactly. We can take hits.
that is a
Sable cannot.
13 to hit.
Oh, that hits. The 13 does hit.
That is an 8 plus. 1 second. Where's my item? Here it is.
I swear, Sebo, if you do the killing blow.
I hope so. I really hope
No,
it's
we actually
Sable
do
doing
it.
this.
Actually,
8
please do
plus 8 plus 6 physical damage. That's
14.
14.
14.
You smack right in the head, and the glass shatters. Shards fall off from underneath the hood as it also falls off over the shoulders. And as the shards fall apart where you would expect a head, there is just black smoke coming out of a body. Smoke flowing down out of the neck. And in the center of the smoke that should be a head, purple and black, forms a bright golden eye. The long limbs of the villain like immediately retract. The golden eye darts around, looking at the shards around. And you just hear now this voice, no longer muffled by glass, but now echoing around this voice. No, no. It's too soon for this. The villain is in crisis.
Now the villain is in crisis.
Now, all of
Only
this.
just now? Jesus.
Oh my Jesus Christ!
He is, from what you can tell, however, looking extremely distressed at this point. That was Sable's turn with a glorious smack, leading us back to the player's turn. Now seeing this smoky head and the villain trying to stumble backwards.
I would
You
like
know-
to. No, go.
Just a comment. I just remembered that but not against this guy. No, it's like I was trying to hit this with a shadow strike, but like it was the wheel that was.
Yeah.
I mean to. Yeah. Never mind. was just a thought. Vivi, please.
I'm going to do what I've been doing constantly throughout all of these combat sessions, Marcus, which is I'm going to throw a thought your way, and you tell me.
Let's go.
Okay.
Throw me one of your thoughts.
So there was one progress left on that clock, correct? Is it possible to do a check with interacting with the device where you said it's been like a purpley, almost shadowy, like corruption that's been spreading all across it?
Right.
If I'm able to pull this off, would it be possible to alter essentially like the aspect, like the valence of the aspect, to make it so that this hinders him in some way, like either his attacks or his movements would be hindered? Whether that's enough to be either a pie slice and I have to do it 2 times, or
Like
I don't lower
rewire
the
it.
pie slice, but I can do something with interacting that will hinder him. I'm perfectly fine if it has to be like 2 separate things to make those effects, but that's the thought I want to throw out here, because I feel like this is the kind of thing that Vivi could do solely because of her background.
That sounds very video gamey too.
Yes, that's also why
Absolutely.
I'm suggesting it.
It does. I'll say this. You did mention we have 1 slice left on the Pie of Doom. You can definitely try to remove that slice. And if that gets removed, then you clear the clock, and included in that, hinder the villain in whatever way you would describe it then. Like maybe you manipulate the machine against them, or you change the frequency, the etherical attunement, or what you want to call it. But you can use your turn to try and remove that last slice, which would be an insight plus insight roll as you tweak that machine. And once it gets removed, it's going to be very bad for the bad guy.
I'm gonna do that.
All right.
This
Insight
is-
plus insight.
Yep, this is her inspecting the machine, drawing on everything that she knows and she's ever learned, hoping beyond hope that this works.
That is a
How does a
13 we
13
got
work
in
for
there.
you?
And we have reduced the clock to 0. What does it look like? What does Vivi exactly do? And how does that hinder our villain here?
I think there's an element where for the moments that he has been able to hit her, there's probably been like pride and like a sense of triumph, especially when he's gotten her so close and he's just hit her again. And she's just like, by the way, I'm not just an inventor. I know magic and I know how to deal with stuff like this. And she reaches into where one of the shadow slices has been, and where the shadow strike has affected her, she plants that directly into the center of the machine, and her eyes, instead of just somewhat lighting up as it's been shown before, they go pure white, like the whole eyeball has gone white. And she just reaches out to the machine and just connects to it, to her very core, and just sort of pleads, please work. And it's like all of the shards, all of the different cables and everything, I'm imagining if they've been sloped up and making almost like the tree-like aspect over it, their directions just slightly shift, the angles happen. And I'm imagining the effect as the room is filled with much more like radiant light. It's like light puzzles where if you reflect the light certain aspects and then it hits a certain thing, it'll cast a full glow. But the result in this one, it makes like beams of light that are hitting across his entire body. It's lighting him up.
Refracting this light, filling the room with this radiant energy cascading now through the wellspring. You also see that whatever kind of cables and pipes that are attached to it are overcharging electricity and energy, maybe even pure aura now running through it, as it's also battering against the shadowy form of the villain. What you would also catch in that, Vivi, there are two more things that you catch here. Where you basically just jury-rigged a solution to this problem, there is more of these flowers appearing around the machine. It's whatever kind of spiritist magic that is somewhere in you seems to do its work. And you also see where Sable is standing, the light bright on the front of them. You see now a long shadow cast behind them. And maybe it's a trick of the light. Maybe it's just your exhaustion from being put near unconsciousness multiple times over the past moments. But it looks as if the shadow is moving across the wall in like a dark tendril, as if it's trying to reach for the wellspring. But all of that rushes by you as the light assaults the villain, and you all can hear just this echoing shouting of, no, no, no! As the villain is going to spend his final Ultima point. And you just see the white cloth dissipating as if they're being burnt by the light. Whatever kind of shadowy form in them vanishing, torn apart, and being completely removed here. Escaping to whatever dark places these figures go to. As the light slowly dims down. And you have overcome this encounter in a room that is now thrumming with peaceful energy. What do you do?
Moonlight, and Laura takes the, hand off her eyes and sighs. I never got a good hit in.
No, but you took a lot of hits for me. Thank you. That was amazing, Vivi. What did you do?
I guess my mom taught me better than I thought. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
And Luar, are you okay?
I am amazed. You pulled no small feat. Are you? And then I see how like is Vivi like very hurt still?
No. Vivi's not
Just
physically hurt.
tired.
Vivi is just mentally and emotionally exhausted by everything. Because I don't think she thought that would work. I don't even think she knew what that was. It was just, let me try something.
Yeah. And Laura says, I believe that we should get out of here and check on our other companions.
How is Grimsby doing, by the way?
Glad you ask. All of you have been focused on this engagement with these shadow wheels, the white cloth figure. Most of you haven't even noticed that also Yuan and Yao have been still aiding you and trying to get some hits in here and there. But you also notice that as everything calms down, Yuan and Yao have apparently been at least trying to keep Thaddeus, maybe not safe as in that they were protective over Thaddeus. You know that Yuan and Yao are also a bit critical about the man. But they have been making sure that he would not get into harm's way. And in one corner of this massive central room at the roots of the wellspring, you see the large fox creature next to the boy, and Thaddeus Grimsby slowly getting up, looking around, readjusting his monocle, and goes, well, is everyone all right?
And Luara looks at Thaddeus with a little bit of relief that he's safe, but also a little bit of like hardness for the the tough fights just now, and says, "Scholar," and then she waves to the machine and everything. Make sense of this. Like very bossy, like.
Thaddeus, with his bag under his arm, comes over and looks at the machine. It has been quite a while since I did wellspring maintenance. Was only an apprentice, but first of all, I think we all can assess that it is very heavily damaged, but it seems to have gotten the trick done. He looks over to Vivi.
Just like steadying herself like as best she can. Like her armor definitely is in that state of, I'm gonna need to spend some time working on this. But she's taking her time to come and look over at the machinery, the cables, and the main panel.
Speaking of the wellspring, do I still see the giant eye or whatever it is in there?
You look at the wellspring. And yes, you did when you cast that magic at the villain. You saw it, these eyes, actually, like this amorphous shape dotted with various eyes looking at you, telling you about retribution and vengeance. You don't see it in the wellspring anymore. But as you look at this gigantic crystal attached to the machinery, Sable, you get this weird sense that, and as silly as it sounds, you get the sense that you helped putting this here.
Okay. Well, they have no context for that or really know whether that feeling means anything, so they're not going to say anything.
Vivi, you were looking over at the panel, at the control panel and everything?
Yeah, I'm taking a look over the overall design, and if she still sees it, wondering about the flowers.
The flowers are still there. It's places where you tried to manipulate them. They're small, gentle ones in various colors, but they are there. And you look over the rest of the dashboard, and you can make sense out of some of these. There's like control valves to relieve pressure. There's systems that allow whatever kind of power of aura flows through the crystal can be redirected throughout other systems. Very important ones, as far as you know. The way that these well springs help protect cities as well is that their energy gets redirected through the city, which happens often through these sewer networks along the pipes that you've seen earlier. And you get a sense of how you can figure that out to get it a little bit readjusted, put into its, well, more neutral settings, but properly fixing this will take some time and requires people who actually are trained in the maintenance of wellspring technology. But for now, what you can do, you can put a Band-Aid on it, basically.
Yeah. I imagine it to the level of like it's the difference between knowing how a car runs and then knowing how to actually properly repair it. She could probably has a good sense of like what it would take to do it, and is also probably strongly aware she does not have that skill set.
It's especially that knowledge, it's especially that fact that you're aware of what it takes that tells you that you don't have the capabilities right now to actually fix it. Like you know enough about it to know that you don't have the skill set at this point to fix this.
So Sable,
is it at the point where if the mayor would send the experts that she sent before, that they would now be able to fix it? Because we've removed the interference?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. That's just Out of character, that's what I wanted to know.
Then I believe it is time. Sorry, carry on.
Vivi, while you're checking up on there, Ewan actually comes walking over, the fox creature, wandering over to you, and just sniffs the console and looks at the wellspring. And you hear the fox saying that those damage it.
I think as far as I can tell, we are okay. This is beyond what I've studied and what my dad has ever been able to show me. But I think for now, this is something that we can get back to the mayor to discuss more.
Your father, you say?
Yes.
I hope he was not involved in this.
I think it's safe to assume he was involved, but I do not know how.
Curious.
There's still information we're missing here. Something is going on that we don't have all of. We don't know everything yet.
And we must keep... Yeah, sorry, go in the war.
I am afraid that this was but a simple technician, and we are still to meet the true danger.
He did mention
As we
he had
go.
siblings. We've already met at least one other. Who knows how many of them there are? He? It? Them?
I'm not sure. There's no way that Vivi's ever, any of us have seen anything remotely like what we saw, correct? This is
The only thing, you know that when last time you talked with Thaddeus about like the white-clothed figures, Thaddeus did mention that at excavation sites of the Seekers, sometimes these white-clothed persons showed up, but they were just observing there. Thaddeus would also like say like, I have never seen one of them do something like this. Do you think they're all just shadows underneath?
I don't try and jump to assumptions when I can avoid it. But if I had to make a guess based on the information we have, I think we have to assume that that is the case until further evidence suggests otherwise.
Did we see the last guy's face?
You did actually, what you did from the last one, there was actually a physical face, but the top half of it was covered by this weird kind of headgear that had all these kind of lenses in them, and it kept shifting between lenses. But there was at least something that looked like a physical mouth and everything, a jawline and stuff like that.
Well, the last one had a face, but that doesn't mean they weren't. That wasn't a mask or something. It's not like we got a good look.
We need to get back, both to rest and to ensure that the mayor is made aware of the situation.
I must reach out to Bloom. I suppose this sort of experiments may also have repercussions.
Let's head back. There's not much more we can do here right now.
Right?
Is Sable's shadow still really large and stuff, or is it back to normal now?
It is back to normal at this point.
Okay.
So you gather your party and make your way out of the sewers. And you can trace back your steps from these lower levels back up to the upper levels, and then back past where you fought these caterpillars and the vampiric bats, and back out to the sewer entrance that you used just a few hours ago as you came into this place. The sun has clearly moved across the sky. A few other outlines of moons in the day sky visible as you walk by and come out of the entrance. And as you make your way back into the streets of Fortbridge, you do notice that there's a lot of people like looking upwards and pointing and running into a certain direction. And you hear there's this group running by, and you hear one of them saying, well, it's way too early to show up here. It should be later in the year. Well, come on, go look. It's here. And people run by.
Gets attention of somebody. Hello, what is going on?
The Sojourner has arrived. And you all know what the Sojourner is. The mysterious spaceship, to be fair, that travels from moon to moon. A living legend, an artifact that has still not been fully understood. Flying its route. And apparently, as you look down the street and look up into the sky, you can see hovering over Fortbridge the gigantic form of it as it approaches the city.
What's that?
This can't be.
The Sojourner is a ship, Sable. It's a vessel that's been known to travel between all of the various moons in a constant cycle. It tends to have the same path, and it's had it for quite a while. It's basically treated as sort of neutral ground for anyone interested. It tends to attract a lot of eccentrics, but also attract a lot of folks who just sort of want to be away from Thea and maybe visit moons, maybe do trade, or maybe just have a life away from the concerns of any of it. But it is strange for it to be coming at this point in time.
Should we ask the mayor?
It is fair to believe the mayor herself will be there.
Then I guess we go. And Sable will just start walking.
And Laura looks like helplessly towards Vivi as if like, how can someone not understand what this means? Okay, what is going on? Like...
And Luara, I asked you earlier this session if you have any means of like a communication device or something on you.
Yeah.
And in this very moment, depending on where you have the device stored on you, you sense that someone is reaching out to you through that device.
Yeah, and Laura reaches out for like a hidden, not hidden, but like a safe pocket, pulls it out, and it looks like one of those kind of hand mirrors, right? And then she opens it up.
As you open it up, you see the face of your surrogate mother in it.
Mm-hmm.
What does she look like?
She looks like someone who has been hardened by work. She is much older than I am. and she is also an excellent fencing teacher. And yeah, she's got dark purple skin like Anluara's, as a lot of people on Bloom have due to several atmospheric and other factors. And yeah, she has she has mostly a kind of a hardened look, and it's difficult for anyone who's not used to her presence and personality to notice when she's talking to someone she cares about.
And she has also this hardened expression facing you as you open your communication pocket mirror with her. And she says, "And Luara, you are still in Thea, are you not?"
Yes. Yes, I am.
We are picking up strange aura readings from our stations.
Oh, I would say that her name is Marla.
Marla. Yep.
Marla, just put it down here. And Marla, you will not believe this. And then Laura just points the camera,
and you reach it out as if you're facing. It's not actually a camera in the mirror, of course, but whatever magic is powering this is.
Yeah.
It basically comes down to the same thing, and you point it towards that. And as you point it back, Marla looks at you and says, "So our suspicions are correct. We have been tracing the course of the Sojourner for a while. There are discrepancies recently. It has been diverting." There are
Marla,
also...
you tell me more.
I don't know everything, unfortunately, due to, how court politics can be.
Mother, giving you a hard time again.
I would be surprised if she wouldn't.
True.
I only know that our sorcerers have been keeping a track on the Sojourner, and it has not been flying as it's supposed to. If you're that close to it, I would ask you to continue your mission and see what it is doing here. If you know
Yes,
anything
mistress.
else, report back to me as soon as possible. I will be having a conversation with the court in the meantime.
Yes, of course. Please do us a favor and just knock down that pompous Baron a few notches, will you? On my behalf.
I'll see if I can put in any favors for you.
And we have news from here too. And Laura explains the latest developments, with not a lot of detail due to time, but she explains what has happened and what happened to the Wellspring. And
do you also mention the
reports at appropriate time? But this is the gist of it.
Do you also mention the white clothed figures that you've seen?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
As you're giving Marla the rundown, you notice you're just telling and talking, as it can happen for Anluara, just being this waterfall of information and talking and talking.
Yep.
You tell about these white robed figures, and you don't even notice it at first, but Marla's expression shifts. And once you say, I'm going to send you a full report later on, she says, "You mentioned white robed figures."
Yes. You know something of them?
The court has a visitor, 2, actually.
Oh.
There was...
You.
Well,
Not
at least one of them.
is it?
At least one of them fully matches the description. white-robed figure.
Marla, this is terrible. You must stop them, no matter what. You must.
I will see what I can do. You do your part on Thea, and I will do my best up here.
I will return at once.
No, not yet. You're in a critical position. You have a tactical advantage right now, and it is in our favor that you're where you are. Keep your wits about you. I will do my part up here. You do your part down there.
Young Lara breathes heavily. Yes, mistress.
And with that, she closes the connection.
And Lara is like still holding the device for a moment, and eventually she closes it and looks up at the ship. And then there is like a shade of doubt in her expression. You know, she's a little shaken.
And with that, as we see in the while we're looking at the ship like that, the scene fades to black. And we see on the black screen in the subtitles below, meanwhile, on an overlook outside of Forkbridge, as we're going to a short villain scene, which means, I checked the rules, when I do a villain scene, all of you get a Fabula point. So all of you gain a Fabula point. We see overlooking Forkbridge, this town with its wellspring in the center, and now approaching this titanic ship of the Sojourner. On this hill, looking down at the city, we see a white-robed figure. Strange headgear with multiple lenses on his head. Some of them shift around, then focus, zooming in on whatever is happening down there. A dark cloud approaches the white-robed figure. It first looks like strange dark mist, but then it looks too thick, too solid, and you see it's actually almost like some dark spirit that flows towards it. And then, as it comes closer, the white-robed figure pulls what looks like a vial from his belt, and the spirit flows into the vial. Figure closes it, and he looks at the vial, and carved into the glass of the vial is a name. The camera looks at it. It says, Solinus. The white-robed figure smiles and says, well, not the first time we have to go look for a new body for you, Solinus. And I assume that means you did fail in your mission. Fortunately, the rest of us is not as foolish as you are, brother. Sojourner is approaching. And the wellspring is still destabilized. We can still attempt, and as this man is monologuing, we hear from behind him a deeper voice. A deep, almost growling voice. Are you sure it can still be completed? Stepping into the picture is at first you see what looks like a girl, early teenager years, but she is not doing the speaking. She's dressed in simple garments with black hair reaching to her shoulders. And what's striking about her are her eyes. They are not the eyes of a human, but those of a wolf. And then approaching from behind her is a large, dire wolf creature. Fur as black as the night, and the eyes of a human. And it's the one speaking. It says, I hope you are not as foolish as the others of your siblings. We have not many chances at this. The Eidolons need to be freed. And I already smelled that my anathema is in the city. The man with the lenses turns towards the girl and the wolf. Yes, I understand that in your strange dual entity system that you are, this adds a complication. But don't worry. We still have, how do they say it? An ace in the hole? Our escorts are taking Emanuele to Gloom as we speak. And essential other parts will be dealt with up there. And then the wolf looks. What about the Corpheon? The man with the lenses cocks his head. You mean the girl that travels, the person, the little person in the robes with the staff? The one that travels with your anathema? Yes. They don't seem to be aware of what they are. That's good for us for now. And even if they find out, their goals should align with ours. Now enough time for chat. We have a ship to take over. And we see the wolf, the girl, and the lensed man looking at the approaching Sojourner as it gets closer to Forkbridge. And we save our game for now and end this session. And pick up again from this next week. All right. How's everybody doing?
Not the villain misgendering Sable.
Shittiest. The shittiest of instances doing this. God damn it. Motherfucker. The fuck is an Eidolon in this world? Who the fuck are they mentioning? Why is my dad involved in this? The fuck?
What was the word you used? Corpheon?
I'm gonna send you the spellings in the chat later on, but I'm gonna make sure you're gonna get all of those words correctly in the chat, so they're also in the
Why
next
are they
version.
going to Bloom?
What the fuck is happening?
There hasn't been enough murder committed in this adventure. We must resolve this.
Because the villains keep getting away.
Yes.
We've only just managed to stop one, and I literally had to channel a fucking aura generator to just bind him in light.
Which was, by the way, fucking badass.
That was really
took
badass.
everything I had. There's a reason she's barely standing right now. She has
That
near full
is-
health, but emotionally, she's done.
That was very good.
God. Holy crap. We lived also, by the way. We lived. No one had to surrender for that fight, which is amazing in and of itself.
Really
Yeah.
pulling everything out there. No holds barred. And that was quite some resources that were used. In total, there were 4 Fabula points being used, and that was 3 Ultima points. So this was quite a intense session in that regard.
Everyone was going all out, I guess.
We need a rest, both in and out of
I
character.
need a rest. I need to get my inventory points back. All of my abilities are based off them, and I can't be off support if I don't have them. Oh.
Well, we're going to see if rest is in the stars next week. But before we get there, how about we go a quick round around the table so everyone can
Jesus Christ.
tell us who they are, where we can find them, and let's start. Let's start with Gabriel. Gabriel, who are you?
I
Where can
don't
we
know
find
who I
you?
am anymore. I don't know. I am just a blob of I don't even know of what. No, folks, thank you. I am Gabriel. You can find me everywhere on social media, including the dumpster fire that Twitter has become as the gift of Gabes, just like that. I am on Blue Sky. I am on Threads. I am on Twitter. I will that name that social media. I don't care. I am on Itch, especially. Okay, so find me on Itch because my stuff is there. My games are there. Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Great to have you. Moving over to the Never Squid.
Hello, everybody. I'm Nev, your friendly neighborhood squid person. I am at the Never Squid on all the social medias. I am a VTuber, an artist, a TTRPG performer, and producer. I wear many hats, and I love all of them. I have been playing Sable today, totally not an eldritch horror in disguise who may or may not be secretly working for the bad guy. I don't know. The GM will surprise me. And this has been so much fun.
Glad to hear you've enjoyed it. Angela.
I exist. How terrible that I must be reminded of this truth. But no, actually, thank you so much, everybody who's been tuning out for this really amazing series so far. I think we're at like the halfway point or something like that of this whole series, which is impressive considering where we started, and now we're like, oh god, so many things are happening. But you can find me most places as Phoenix24 Femme, whether it be Blue Sky, Instagram, or the lingering carcass that continues to have life that is Twitter. You can find me there in those, and also very soon over at Girls Run These Worlds, I'll be involved in some holiday one-shots that folks are going to be a part of that I'm so excited for. There's some amazing games folks have pitched to us for the holidays, and we're always so excited to get to do things with our community. So we hope y'all will tune in when those are all happening.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you for being here, everyone. My name is Marcus, also known as the individual, pronouns I, he, him, and I have had the honor once again to run this group through Fabula Ultima. You can find me mostly here on Horde of Tales, where I'm either running games, playing in games, producing games. I have a few hats here, and you can find me again next week with this group here as we're going into the next session to see what the heck's an eidolon here? What's a Corpheon? Why is there a wolf with human eyes? And will they actually get a rest scene to get back their resources? Also, before that, on Friday here on this channel, we have another EU happy hour coming up with this Friday playing the TTRPG Become One, where the players are mechas trying to rescue the life of their respective pilots. So if you want to see that happening, tune in here on a Friday, and you can find all of our dates when we play and run. You can find them on our social media. We're also on Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram. You can also join our Discord server, where we also post when we go live, but you can also come and chat with us and hang out in between games. And if you want to catch previous sessions of not just this campaign, but every other game we have run here on Horde of Tales, why don't you hit up our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Horde of Tales with all of VODs, YouTube shorts, and all stuff of this Horde of Tales that we are collecting here. Once again, thanks to my amazing table for this session. Thanks for everyone who came to hang out with us and to come watch us. Stay safe. Take care, and see you soon on Horde of Tales. Bye.